What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hustle with JesseW, and today we're going to go over the reason why I don't use a daily max loss when I'm trading. Check it out. All right, guys, so the question is whether or not a max loss on the day is something good to have as far as a rule, right? As far as having that as a set rule for an individual trader. There are a lot of traders out there who use the max loss rule, meaning they'll set themselves up with a max loss, sometimes even so that where the max loss lies is not even on them mentally for them to stop trading for the day. They actually are able to set it within their broker software. Meaning they'll go ahead and they'll go into a setting in their software and they'll set a max loss of whatever it is. It could be $100, $500, 5,000, 50,000. It depends on the trader's account size and what they're willing to lose in one single day. Okay, so that's something that some softwares will allow you to do via the settings. Another way of doing that is by calling the broker directly and asking the broker to input that manually, and they can do it so in a way where you cannot even circumnavigate that and knock it off yourself, right? Like you can't go into the settings of the software and turn that off. So it makes it that much more difficult. Okay, so they'll call up their broker and they'll be like, hey broker, you know, I want to set a max loss on my account of whatever, $10,000, $5,000, $500, $100, whatever it is, right? Everybody's max loss type thing is very, very individualistic. Okay, so they'll call up the broker and they'll ask him, hey, I want to set a max loss. And then they do that. And the only way for that trader to be able to get that lifted would be for them to call the broker on that day and tell him, hey, please take my max loss setting off, or double it, or bring it up by $100, whatever it is. Okay, the point is you have to physically get on the phone and call your broker and tell them, I want my max loss lifted or completely shut off, no max loss. That's something that some people do, and I find that that's a good way of doing it if you're going to do a max loss, because at that point you have to call the broker. So now it's like, do I really want to, you know, it's like an ego thing, right? It's like, do I really want to talk to my broker on the phone and be like, I'm kind of at my max loss today, buddy, but you know what? I'm going to throw that rule out the window and I'm not going to pay attention to it. So I guess in that aspect, it should be a very, very effective deterrent from further damaging your account if you're on tilt, okay? If you're on tilt. Now, do I personally have a max loss? I do not use typically a max loss on a day per se. I don't do that. The reason why I don't do that is because so far I've been disciplined enough to stop out where I'm supposed to stop out, okay, and pay attention to my rules and do everything according to the rules that I have set forth, okay, for my trading. Because of that, I don't have a max loss. Just last summer when I was trading down in the Florida Keys, it was one day where I had a really, really rough morning, okay? I had a really rough morning of trading. And for me personally, all right, like I've always said, I've always taught, is risk is very individualistic. It's relevant to the account holder, okay? Where I have no problem risking $300-400 on a trade. Somebody else might look at that and be like, that's crazy. I can't risk more than $75 a trade, $100 a trade, $50 a trade. Where somebody else might look at me and say, peanuts. What is that? $300, $400 in a trade? That's peanuts. You know, they risk $3,000, $4,000 a trade, right? Typically speaking, that would go along the lines with your account size, right? You can get a trader that knows and has a whole lot more experience than another one, but the other trader has a beginning balance in their account of $300,000 because they're crazy rich. That's just the way it could be. There's nothing wrong with it. Right? They can literally be starting off trading and learning to trade with $1,000 per trade risk. They could, because to them $1,000 might be the equivalent of $25 to you, right? It's possible. That happens every day. There's a big disparity in account sizes, and account sizes have nothing to do with the person's actual knowledge. Now, that does come into effect with their risk tolerance. Whereas in me, I rather risk, $300, let's say in a trade, and I have no problem, let's say, if I'm wrong 2 or 3 times in a day and I lose 600 bucks, 900 bucks, I'm not going to, feel terrible about it in the sense. I'm not going to get overly nervous or anxious about it. It's just going to be a red day for me, right? I'm okay with that, right? That's why I'm okay with that. Now, on this day in the Keys last year, I was red about, I want to say 1,300 bucks. The video's up on YouTube somewhere. I'm sure we can find it. I was red, I believe, around $1,300. Hey guys, well, before we move any further, do me a quick favor, smash that like button for me, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and make sure to check out the link in the description section below. You have Webull, you download the app with 100 bucks and you get 2 free stocks if you deposit that amount in your account. And also, the daytraderchatroom.com, you can check us out for 5 days for $5, or you can sign up for my free course down there as well. I'll leave the links in the description section and comment section for you. And I was really upset with myself. I left. That was the morning I left. I got up and left. I went about, did things I had to do throughout the day. I worked on the property. As some of you know, that's a rental property that we rent out in the winter times to people that want to come on down for vacation in the Florida Keys. And I came back in the afternoon. And I remember, if I remember correctly, I took either 3 or 4 trades that day in the morning that made me go red about 1,300 bucks. When I came back in the afternoon, I took 2 trades. Those 2 trades brought me not only back from the deficit, but they put me well in the green on the day. Like I had a decent little green day after that, right? That's exactly why I don't use a max loss. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to come in, right? And I was red 1,300 bucks in the morning, and now I come back in the afternoon and I dig myself another $1,300 red, and now I'm red 2,600 bucks. That's not what that means, right? My risk was the same. I came in risking about 300 bucks per trade. Boom, hit the first one, made back a bunch of money. Boom, hit the second one, and got well back into the green on the day. At most case scenario there, I would have lost, another 300 bucks or something like that, and it would have been, okay, big deal, right? That's it, I'm done. What I instead do, as far as me personally, one of my rules is, typically speaking, I allow myself 3 red trades in a row. 3 red trades. If I'm red 3 times in a row on the day, generally speaking, I stop. I take myself away from my computer. I take away myself from the desk. I go outside. I do whatever I have to do. I play with my daughter. I'll do whatever I need to do in order to basically reset my mind. Kind of like resetting your computer, right? A hard reset. That's what I do. I try to hard reset my mind. If it's early enough, I'll come back to my desk with a fully reset mind. I'll sit down and I'll look around and see if I spot another opportunity. If I spot another opportunity, I'll gauge my risk to reward. And if it falls in line with everything within my risk tolerance and my rules, I will take that 4th trade. Generally, if I'm right on that 4th trade, it more often than not will bring me back from anywhere from 50%, it'll bring back 50% of my red to bringing me back basically green on the day. This has happened here live in the chat room at the daytraderchatroom.com. I've done that. I've literally done that. And that's the reason why I don't have like a max loss dollar amount on the day, but more so a set rule of if I'm wrong 3 times in a row, I disconnect myself from everything, come back with a fresh mind. And then if I'm wrong that 4th time, I'm done. I shut everything off. Everything goes off. I'm done. The most I'll do is I'll come back at the end of the day and I'll look at the market towards the end, right before the bell, so that I can kind of like refresh and like take a look at everything that went on in the day. I'll study up a little bit, and the next day is a brand new day. It's a brand new day. Now, the reason why I do it that way is very simple. It's a lot of times I'm able to take that 4th trade, right? Or I'm able to take that other couple trades that brings me well back into the green on the day or break even on the day. And if it digs me redder, it's generally speaking just a drop in the bucket of an already very red day. So it doesn't really hurt me, right? If I'm down $600 on the day and I take one more trade, right, and I lose a couple $100, it's no big deal at that point. Okay, it's just no big deal to me at that point. However, if that trade is right, well then I'm going to make 2 to 3 times that amount, and it's going to bring me, if not break even on the day, it might bring me a little bit of green, or it might knock down a tremendous amount of my red. All right. So it's a risk reward thing for me, right? Hey, I lost a couple $100 more, big deal. It's already a crap day. That's what I'm going to say to myself. Or if I take that trade and it brings me, it brings a big chunk of my red down, 50%, 70%, 90%, or better yet, break even or a little green, then it's a win, right? So it's totally worth it at that point. But the trade has to fall in line with my strategy. I have to make sure that I'm not revenge trading, that I'm not trading on emotions, that I'm sitting there and trading like I'm supposed to trade every single day. So that's the reason why I personally don't have a max loss. Now, some people do need to have that max loss, because if they don't have that max loss, they'll blow up an account. So it's very individualistic. You have to find within yourself whether or not you're that person that needs to have a max loss set. And if you need to have a max loss set, in my opinion, you might as well set it in a settings on the software of your broker, or call them up and have them do it to where it just locks you out from trading for the rest of the day. That's just my opinion. If you have to, you need to have it set where the max loss, that's kind of like a hard stop, because you have to do it, then you might as well, because if you don't have it set that way, you're going to overtrade, more than likely. You're going to overtrade. You're going to revenge trade. You're going to go on tilt. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Until you have the discipline to be able to do everything I just mentioned, that's the only way really to control that. That's just, in my opinion anyways, that's the only way to control that. Now, if you're able to control that, then like me, I have no max loss on the day. Now, it's not to say that if I have a couple bad trades where I get stuck in some weird halt down and it just wrecks me, right, and I'm down a couple $1,000 on the day, at that point I might step off completely, because emotionally I might be so mad that it's not going to be smart trading from there on. So I might just step back and be done for on the day, right? That's possible. That's something that could happen. It's never happened to me before, but it's something that could happen. Last year in the summer, I had a tech glitch on the software that I was using. Since I was on a Mac, I couldn't use the downloadable software from Street Smart's Edge, so I had to use their cloud-based software, which was okay. It worked all summer long for me while I was traveling, but that day, for some reason, there was major issues. I had already gone red on the day, a little bit over $1,000, and all of a sudden, I had finished up the day down like $3,000, and most of it was because of the software, and I was so mad. I was furious. So I didn't trade. I didn't come in, try to make it back. No. I was done. The very next day, I made it all back and some, right? I made it all back and some. And it was trading Tesla. I love Tesla, at least now when it's volatile still. But that's how it works for me when it comes to max losses, all right? Everybody's different. You got to figure that one out for yourself. It's going to take time to figure that one out for yourself. For a while, I had a max loss. Like I'd say maybe a year and a half ago, I had a max loss of about $400 or $500. And I quickly realized that was no good for me. So I don't have it anymore. Now what I have is the 3 strikes, you're out. You got one more at bat if you're refreshed. And if that one you strike out, you're truly done until the next game. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to smash the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hit that notification bell so you're alerted when I upload my next video. And I'll catch you on the next one.